This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Hello, boys. Shut up.
I can't. Hot air, did you hear that?
Hot air. H-O-T-A-I-R.
It's coming your way. Coming to a location near you. Hot air. How marvellous. Texts and emails from last night. Emily texts, I will vote Labour as they would end charitable status for private schools. Yeah, absolutely, Emily. Why on earth are private schools subsidised by poor people who can't afford to send their children to private schools? Talk about a rigged system. Mansour says, Rishi Sunak, the cockerel no bigger than one, walks and talks like one too. Wow, is that English? Rishi Sunak, the cockerel, no bigger than one, no bigger than one, no bigger than a cockerel. Walks and talks like one too. No, he doesn't. Tories will go for him. No, you mean, like, go for him? As they'll go for a donkey as a leader if he had a sack full of money on its back. I won't even bother to tell you about the punctuation in that because it's just absolutely abysmal. Bill text, don't worry about Bodger running again. The Brains Trust will remove the whip before he gets the chance. Well, I am worried. Boris Johnson reportedly thinks he will return as Prime Minister next year, even though he only resigned less than 3 weeks ago.
What?
The PM announced he would step down on July the 7th after 57 ministers resigned from the government in just 48 hours. They said, right, that's it, we're leaving. That's following the Chris Pincher scandal. However, he has been privately saying, Bodge, that he's going to make a comeback to Downing Street as soon as next year, according to his former aide, Tim. He's coming back. We're going to need a bigger boat. He bowed out of his final Prime Minister's questions last Wednesday, telling MPs, hasta la vista, baby. An apparent reference to Arnold Schwarzenegger's catchphrase of the film Terminator, which is also famous for the line, I'll be back.
Correct.
Spoiler alert, that Terminator doesn't come back. He dies and is replaced with another one just like him. Enter the Lizbot.
Affirmative.
A little more than a fortnight ago, Mr Johnson told the nation it's now clearly the will of the Parliamentary Conservative Party that there should be a new leader of that party and therefore a new Prime Minister. Well, you know what? Actually, Bodge, it's not just the Parliamentary Conservative Party, it's the will of the people.
Bye-bye.
We say. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. And leave some of the fixtures and fittings. We paid for that stuff. He says, the reason I have fought so hard for the last few days to continue to deliver our mandate in person was not because I wanted to do so, but because I felt it was my job, my duty, my obligation to you to continue to do what we promised in 2019. Who's he kidding? We see you. He's been this past week doing his duty by playing his favourite game, where he dresses up in other people's work clothes and plays pretend. After his final PMQs, the outgoing Bodge was given a standing ovation by Tory MPs, and there wasn't a spine among them. We hate you, we hate you, we hate you. Now get out. You're leaving? We love you. Johnson told the Commons that his last 3 years as PM had been the greatest privilege of my life, as he listed his achievements in office, such as... Well, you know, there was the time that he did... No idea. Not a single clue. Suggestions that Bodge could return as PM came after 7,600 Tory party members demanded a vote on whether Boris Johnson remains leader. 7,600 Tory party members demanded a vote on whether Bodge remains a leader. They said... I mean, seriously, are these people divorced from reality? Get out of the golf club, you Tory party members. See what the rest of us think. The people behind the petition threatened to apply for an injunction on the Tory leadership election if the request was refused. Oh, please do that. I double dare you. I mean, this is the speciality of the Labour Party. punching each other in the face because of a lack of purity. Please do that. The petition said, it said, back in 2019, Boris Johnson was elected by the membership to be our new leader. Now that choice has been changed without referral to the people that elected him. You cannot disenfranchise the membership from the whole process from the beginning, as this is open to abuse by the parliamentary party, who may have vested interest, reasons and grievances to settle against our leader. It said, morale amongst the membership is low and there is anger towards the parliamentary party. I demand Boris Johnson be added to the ballot as an option for the members to vote upon in the forthcoming election. You've got to be kidding me. The choice, we voted for Boris Johnson. That choice has been changed without referral to the people that elected him. Correct amundo. We elected him. By which I don't mean me, but just enough. 46% of those that could be bothered to express a preference. Less than half, note, which gave them a massive majority. Less than half of the people in this country gave that party 100% of the power. Again. You cannot disenfranchise the membership from the whole process. This is open to abuse by the parliamentary party. Well, we've been abused by the parliamentary party over and over and over again. And unlike most of them, we don't like it. Morale among the membership is low.
Stop whining.
Oh, please. It's like someone's taken their dummy away. The two men leading the petition are Lord Cruddas, a self-made billionaire, of course he is, and a major donor to the Tory party. Of course he is. And David Campbell, what is his name? Campbell Bannerman, a former MEP, if you please. Well, isn't Cruddas the chap that Bodge elevated to the House of Lords despite official advice? And isn't Campbell Brown an old kipper?
We've got a few idiots in our party.
I mean, they're just the type to decide on the future of this country, aren't they? An old kipper and a lord. A billionaire. I mean, seriously, has there been a coup in this country? Because I didn't see it on the news, but it appears to have taken place. Still, it's not like it could get any worse. In other news, Michael Fabricant was the first MP to support the Bring Back Boris campaign. Oh, yeah? What does his hair say? 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. And if you think that those two are unrepresentative of the Tory party members in full, you are completely incorrect in every respect. I gave you the demographics last night. Tory party members, 76% Leave voters. 76% Leave voters.
We should have a second referendum.
63% male, 39% over 65. Which is, and I think I may have talked about this last night, that's why they're not remotely interested in green issues, ecological issues, because by the time that the water starts lapping up at the bottom of our nostrils, they're not going to be here anymore. 39% of them are over 65. 56% live in London and the South East, and 95% are white British. You bet they are. Texts and emails from last night. Bill text, don't worry about Bodger running again. The Brains Trust will remove the whip before he gets the chance. I'm getting deja vu. Seems to me like I've read that one already. Lee says, if I hear Truss or any other politician say, I've been very clear, or let me be clear, I'll volunteer to be on the next flight to Rwanda. What if they say it robustly, Lee? Roger emails, Dover is a problem because the government wants to stop the population leaving a country going downhill fast. Well, they seem to be doing everything in their power to stop us leaving. That does seem true. Oh, my God, the monkeypox. The World Health Organization released a statement. They said, no, we don't need no more poxes. But we appreciate the interest.
Thank you.
Monkeys. Alexander's text, thanks for your trust speech recommendation, although unfortunately I have let you down as I have a weak heart, says Alexandra. Don't let that stop you. Steve text, was Smug a postman called Pat when he was younger? It does look a little like Postman Pat, yeah. Jake says, I missed the first 2 hours. Can you run back through it all real fast? Well, let me think about that.
No.
It's a no from me, Jake. But thanks for the request. It's just that I don't take requests. Do I sound like Anne-Marie Minhall to you? 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC. This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet @LBC. Text 84850.
Everything is going extremely well.
You bet your life it is. 0345 6060 973. Let's have a call in Merseyside from a person called Nora. Nora.
Hi, Nick.
Nora.
About the petition.
Yes.
Does the petition go? If they want us, or they want people to respect their 7,000 signatures, then in that case they'd have to respect the 50,000 signatures on the petition, not to let Boris Johnson have any resignation honoraries.
Really? There's a petition that says
to-
that? Where's that petition?
Change.org.
Change.org.
I keep putting it on the Twitter. Have you not seen it? Anyway,
Well, I glance at Twitter every now and again, and I retweet.
you comment on Twitter quite a lot.
Yeah, usually in the morning over breakfast, and then the rest of the day I just can't be bothered anymore. But no, I don't tend to read it a lot. I scan it while I'm eating my porridge.
Well, Change.org, Boris wants to have 2 lists of honoraries because he wants to fill the House of
Yeah,
Lords with,
I bet he
with his
does.
cronies and people who'll support him, whatever he does.
Yes.
Anyway, and there's a signature saying, no, he's not allowed, he shouldn't be allowed to do that. So they want, there's 50,000 on it now. They're heading for 70, they want 75,000.
Right.
But as I say, they want their 7,000 to be acknowledged, and I think it's only fair that we have our 50,000 acknowledged.
That would be
So
fair,
then-
but Fair
I
has
think
left
so.
the building, Nora.
Another thing, I'm watching Charlie Watts
Oh, yeah.
as we speak.
Charlie
Got it on
Watts.
freeze frame.
What's he doing?
That's the one he's doing. But it is sort of a big surprise. Dave Green's doing quite. Do you know who Dave Green is, the bass player?
Dave Green.
Anyway,
Who is
yeah, the bass
who's Dave
player.
Green?
Well, he used to live next door to Charlie Watts, I found out. But he used to also stay in my flat in Liverpool.
But who
I
is
thought
Dave Green?
He's a bass player.
From?
He played with Pentangle.
Pentangle. Well, see,
era.
now that's why I don't have any knowledge of
I
Dave
know.
Green.
You and I are very diverse.
Pentangle. That sounds like hippie music to me. Please stop singing.
That's it, sorry. Anyway, so Dave, anyway, he's doing all the commentary. It was a bit of a shocker. Oh, he used to stay in my flat. Oh, and there he was on the telly.
Well,
With Charlie Watts.
I can
Bloody
beat
shock.
that, Nora, because Jerry Rafferty used to live at the end of my garden.
Wow, did he play saxophone?
No, Jerry Rafferty didn't play saxophone. That was somebody else. Jerry Rafferty played guitar. Yeehaw. Yeah, I used to live in poshest Hampstead. The place wasn't mine. I was renting this ramshackle room in a building. Come to find out, it was in a very, 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 very posh road. That I probably wouldn't be able to walk up and down it these days. Be armed security wherever you look. Yeah, but it was a flat that was carved out of this sort of falling down old building, and at the end of the garden was a house, and you never saw anybody coming and going. But they said, "Oh, you know who lives in there? Jerry Rafferty." I've loved Jerry Rafferty music since the dawn of time. That's just a fact. Steelers Wheel, Fergusley Park. Oh, what an album. Yeah, thanks a lot, Nora. 0345 6060 973. Pentangle, you say.
Want to score some pot?
Sally says, looking forward to hearing Lord Rees-Mogg and Baroness Nadine Dorris, maiden speeches in the Lords. Worried about some of the elder statesmen dying of boredom or laughter. Well, I think they'll never have heard anything like it in their lives. Paul texts, do you remember when Donald Trump came to power and we all thought, wow, how did that happen? Is this the best they could do out of 300 million Americans? And now look at us. We end up with these two duds.
Oh, shut up!
Yeah, that's right. The race to replace baby Trump is on. We got going on for 70 million people in this country, and we got Dumb and Dumber, and we don't even get a choice between them. There has been a coup in this country, hasn't there? They've just taken over, and they could do it because the multicoloured clown at the front of the stage going paw. Meanwhile, behind them, dark shenanigans. Caroline says, that's so unfair. Her cheese speech was great. Grate. Talking about the Liz bot.
Affirmative.
Oh, Liz Truss.
That is a disgrace.
It is. It is disgraceful. You're quite right there, Liz. Do your patented smile. Fill emails, show me a Brexiter and I'll show you a Liz Truss supporter. Yeah, what's going on there? I mean, seriously, what is going on in this country? I would like an explanation on my desk first thing tomorrow morning. I mean it. 0345 6060 973. Edgware. Hello, Bob.
Hello.
Bob.
Out of Trump and Johnson, who do you think will be Tweedledum and Tweedledee?
Who do I think of what now?
Tweedledum.
Yeah.
Tweedledee.
What's your question?
Who would be Trump? Who would Trump be, and who would Johnson be?
Johnson is Johnson, and he's baby Trump. And Tweedledum and Tweedledummer are Fishy and the Lizbot.
No, it's Tweedledum and Tweedledee.
Tweedledum and Tweedledummer.
Oh, D.
Bob, where did you go to school? Because you're embarrassing yourself on national radio. Don't you know anything? It's Tweedledum and Tweedledummer.
Ask. You look it up. Ask your...
I most certainly will do nothing of the sort, but thanks for the suggestion. You believe that? Abuse on my own show. But please do call back anytime you like. You know, mostly when I'm not here would be good. Paul texts, I don't think Mr. Johnson's last words at PMQs should have been hasta la vista, baby. He should have borrowed from Fatal Attraction. I will not be ignored, considering his speech was all about him. I can't take 8 weeks of this nonsense. Is it just me? No, Paul. No, it's not you. No. It's everybody. We can't believe it. I will not be ignored. Was that a line out of Fatal Attraction? Was that the a line spoken by the bunny boiler? Are you allowed to say bunny boiler?
No.
Well, how about if they actually boiled bunnies?
Yes.
Aha. I will not be ignored. It's a good long while since I've seen that film. I don't recall. Sedley says, I have still got my burgundy passport. Do you think I could skip the queue by waving it jauntily at the border crossing? Well, it's worth a go, Sedley. It's worth a go. And on that subject, Laura says, I hate my new passport colour. Oh, my God. People and their passports. Have we found a benefit of Brexit yet?
No.
Not really. Not one single one. We've got an entire Victorian hat stand whose sole purpose in life is trying to find a positive from Brexit. And so far...
I don't know anything.
He doesn't know anything. You did say that, didn't you?
I don't know anything.
One more time with the feeling?
I don't know anything.
He doesn't know anything. I believe him. Mike emails, has it not occurred to you that people in the queues could be Remainers? Brexiters might well not want to go to Europe anyway. No, weirdly, Brexiters, the ones that I'm aware of anyway, they vote for Brexit and then they leave the country.
What?
Can you believe that? It's like voting, it's like sitting on the Titanic and steering the course for the iceberg and then getting into the boats straight away and without waiting for it to hit. Right, you keep on this course. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Is he still there? Are you still there, Bob?
Yeah, who sat on a wall and had a big fall?
Tweedledum
And Tweedledee.
and Tweedledummer.
Okay, so one sat on a wall, the other one had a big fall.
Yeah.
So who would be Trump and who would be...
Is this the same question again? I refer you to the answer I gave some moments ago. But thanks, Bob. You have delighted us enough. Here is Ashford, Milan.
Nick, how are you?
Confused. How are you?
I'm really confused. Well, this has been a circus for the last few years. I'm not sure I'm too surprised because almost on a weekly basis, I'm sort of scratching my head going, what is happening to this? And yeah, I have to say, thank you so much for being an isle of sanity in amongst all this chaos.
I wish people would stop saying... I mean, that's nice of you, but I wish people would stop saying that I am keeping them sane. This is too much pressure, people.
But it's true. It's true. You and your accents of various people with posh accents, like, that's very funny. But do you know, I was thinking, right, the next leader, Sunak or Truss? And I think who's going to be more dangerous? And I think Truss is going to be more dangerous because she'll be goaded by the ERG and Mark Francois and Hardman Steve Bates say, do you know what? I think you're a Remainer. And then Liz Truss will get really panicky and go, right, I need to start fights with
doubling
the EU
down,
and doubling down, overcompensating and just not having a cordial relationship with our biggest and nearest trading partner, and instead trying to appease a few people in the back room on the back benches.
Yeah,
and I think we'll have a worse relationship with the EU.
That's right. I don't think that the party, but particularly this current leadership, has any interest in having a relationship of accord with the EU. They want to have a fight. They want to keep the fight going because it gives them an excuse for anything that they screw up that goes wrong. It's the EU being mean to us. And it's the same as this woke war nonsense. They just want to keep churning it over to make their fans continually angry. And that's where we are. Brexit will never get done because they don't want it to be done.
Can I ask a really controversial question?
Uh-oh.
I've been mega patient the last few years, but now it's come to the point where your answers to this will be helpful. But how unbelievably stupid and deluded are fans of this government and the Conservative Party? Because surely, if you look at the facts, which they speak for themselves, it demonstrates that how incompetent, corrupt, and full of lies the Conservative Party are, but still they
support. Yeah.
Still, I can't comprehend that. I don't. Can you? I don't.
Yes, I can.
I don't get
that
it.
Is the statistic that jumped out at me. I've said this before. The last two by-elections, the Tories lost, but still, despite everything that's gone on lately, they still managed to get about 40% of the vote, which is not too far off what gave Boris Johnson his enormous majority at the last general election. So they're not gone. They're wounded. It's like the shark in Jaws. It's not dead yet. So I think and the reason why is because it would be too much loss of face and loss of hope. I've spoken about this a lot, and I firmly believe that this is true. They don't want to say that they made a mistake. Same thing with Brexit, because it would be too much loss of face. They would have to admit that they'd been had, and they don't want to lose faith with either Brexit or the Tory party, because that would also mean they're losing hope, because they've been promised all this great stuff. I mean, the stuff hasn't arrived yet, but if they admit to themselves it's not coming, then what have they got?
Exactly, and well, Brexit is my favourite subject, but it's incredible that they can't comprehend that we're the only country in history to put trade borders with our nearest and biggest trading partner.
To make it more difficult to trade with our biggest trading partner. We're the only country in history that has ever done something that stupid. Yeah, that's us.
Hey, Nick, how did you cope with the hot weather?
I loved it. LOVD, loved it.
Oh, you too. Brilliant.
I cope with it by doing nothing, sitting in the garden and drinking occasionally.
Booze. I got told because I went for a jog on as I normally do.
What?
And on Tuesday, and I got a massive telling off from the missus.
Well, I would think so. Are you out of your mind? A jog?
Yeah, it felt great. I mean, because I'm normally used to temperatures around 40, 45. So I haven't climatised since emigrating here.
Right.
So, that was 1980.
Yeah. You've been waiting that long for temperatures that good. All right. It probably won't be a good long while before they come around again, Milan. Not the way things are going. But thanks for that. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC. It's about 10:30. The news headlines with Lucinda Horsley.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
This is absolute tosh.
Lorna texts, how did you find the weather earlier this week? Did you manage to whip off the long johns for half an hour? Why, yes, Lorna. I chiselled them off me. Thanks for your question about my Pantel area.
Disgusting.
Ian texts, I'm sure the Dover road jams happen every summer, the French being awkward as usual, and plenty of people in Scotland are against leaving the UK. Yeah, well, let's put that to the test, shall we, Ian? Plenty. Oh, my... this is exactly what I'm talking about. They don't want to get Brexit done, despite Bodge's insistence that is precisely what he did, because if everything is going smoothly, as it should, then they won't have an excuse to blame the French for everything that's going wrong. And it's not the French, the port of... which is... the Lisbot said that too. It was in the news. The Brains Trust blame the French. See? This is the plan. They want to screw everything up, not take blame for anything at all. Oh, it was like that when I got here. You know, the Bart Simpson defence. Bodge has been using it his entire life. Make a giant mess on the floor and then just waltz off and let the help clean it up. God. Port of Dover boss Doug Bannister told this station that it is, quotes, absolutely true that Brexit is ultimately to blame for the extreme delays at the Port of Dover because passports require extra checks. When the port declared a critical incident, it saw holidaymakers get stuck in 6-hour queues as officials in Britain and France traded accusations in a blame game, and motorists today were hit with more long waits. Travellers have been warned again to brace for queues and told to allow at least 5 hours to get to their ferry to take them to the continent. What? 5 hours. Does your holiday last that long? Blimey. The Port of Dover boss, Doug Bannister, said, we are in a post-Brexit environment, which means the transaction times through the borders are going to take longer because the passports need to be checked. They need to be stamped. That's right. Because we insisted on it. But, you know, they're true blue passports. Her Majesty's true blue patriotic passports. And, OK, we could have had that colour when we were in the EU. And, OK, so they're made in Poland by a French-Dutch company. But what could be more British than that? Port of Dover boss Doug Bannister said, so what we did in response to that is come up with a rather detailed plan for our traffic volumes throughout the entire summer, but we've also installed new interim border authority kiosks to be able to operate from and handle the business on the busiest days. Yeah, and I would guess that the problem with that is that Dover hasn't got much space. It's rather hemmed in, is Dover. I mean, it was OK when we just got waved through, when we were in the EU, but with the sort of numbers that go through it these days, and with the normal commercial traffic on top, it's just not going to work. Expect delays from now until forever. It's what the people voted for. When asked if Brexit was the issue behind the delays, Port of Dover boss Doug Bannister said, that is absolutely true.
Absolutely.
Absolutely true.
Absolutely.
But, you know, he's just the Port of Dover boss. So what does he know about the Port of Dover? I'm sure, just like the Lisbot said, it's the French being mean to us because they're jealous of all the sovereignty we've got. That sovereignty is ours. You can't have it, awful French people, with your cheap electricity and gas and your many public holidays and your functioning health system. No! Who do you think you are? Chris says, I'm convinced Donald Trump Jr. will be the Republican candidate. He's currently 100 to 1 at the bookies. He'll do what his daddy tells him, and Trump will still make a fortune betting on him. Watch this space. I most certainly will not. Donald Trump Jr. Wow, talk about Tweedledum and Tweedledummer. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Oh, shut up!
I mean, really. What's happening? Seriously, what is happening? None of this is normal. It's probably a mistake that I've made. I took the blue pill when I should have taken the red one. I keep making that mistake. Next time I'm going to take both at the same time and see what happens.
Yowza.
Let's have South Shields. Hello, Joanne.
Oh, hello, Nick.
Joanne.
Hello. Talking of all things French and a mess on the floor, I'd like to talk about the Fab Freezy. Or the Fabson Freezy.
The what?
Fabson Freezy.
The what?
Fabson Freezy.
Spell it.
Oh, God. F-A-B-S-O-N-F-R-I-S-E. Freezy, as in frizzy. Now, what it is, Michael Fabricant came on TV, obviously wanting Boris to come back, and it's obvious.
Yeah.
He needs Boris for the breeding programme.
For the breeding programme?
Yeah, Fabricant's hair, Johnson's hair, that's how you get your Fabson Freezy.
The Fabson Freezy. I think you've hit on something there, Joanne. I want you to make it happen. I want you to breed those dogs. Sell them up at a massive markup and we'll split it 50-50. What do you say?
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan. All right, thanks a lot, Joanne.
You don't need to put all of that product in your hair. You just don't.
You just don't. Matt emails. Liz Truss says that she would have a bonfire of the EU red tape, but hasn't she noticed that local authorities are banning all fires and barbecues? Yeah. How many times have we heard them say that they're going to have a bonfire of EU red tape? No, they won't. No, they won't. And no, they won't.
No, 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 no.
And there's a very good reason for that. It's because the EU is still our biggest trading partner. We are smaller than they are. We do not have the upper hand. We do not hold any of the cards. So we are now going to have to obey their rules if we want to sell our stuff to them. Unless companies now want to make two different versions of their products. One for the internal market and one for the external market. Which company wants to do that? I'll tell you, none of them, because the costs will be enormous. So they're going to have to stick to European rules on products and services, regardless of what EU red tape Liz Truss manages to set fire to. So she might as well not bother. It's another one of these fantastical promises that is not going to come about. And which part of the EU rules and regulations is it that she's going to attack first? What is it that is aggrieving her so much? Is aggrieving the right word? Not sure. Which bit of it is causing you grief, Liz? EU red tape. The smug's been looking for EU red tape that he can set fire to. Have you come up with anything?
I don't know anything.
Still doesn't know anything. It's just total nonsense. They're trying to keep the Brexit flame alive. They never want it to be done, ever, because it will always be the fight. Oh, well, we couldn't give you everything that we promised because the EU are being mean to us. It's the bloomin' French again. No! Yeah, we can see the sunny uplands. You can't see them yet, but trust us, they're there. It's just that the French are blocking our way. If it weren't for them, we'd be camping there already. They got cows and everything. a bonfire of EU red tape. Like what, for instance? What is it that people are itching to be free of EU regulations about? More powerful vacuum cleaners? Right. Is it you want to get back the kettle that the EU banned? That was one of the ads that came around. That was all that dark money that was floating around. Could have been Russian, could have been American billionaires. I expect a little bit of both. And they flooded Facebook with all these phony adverts. They profiled you precisely. Are you interested in cats? Are you interested in dogs? Do you have 2 cars? Have you expressed an interest in sunglasses lately? All that stuff. And they calculated precisely who you are, where you are, how much you earned, and what your interests are. And then they with a laser-like precision, put an ad in your Facebook parade. And one of them was, the EU wants to ban kettles.
What?
Vote Brexit, otherwise you won't be able to make tea anymore. What? And so they did. That's how the next election is going to be fought, by the way. It's not going to be people in tweed jackets going around knocking on people's doors. Have you considered voting Conservative? None of that. Millions and millions of pounds are going to come from who knows where. And it's going to pour into these algorithms, or agorithms, as a regular caller to this show used to describe them. Agorithms are going to be squirting their business right up your feed. 0345 6060 973. Be alert for that, by the way, because it's coming to you to a location near you soon. All your social media is going to be absolutely awash with that stuff because they won Brexit with it. So that's the way they're going to win everything from now on. If it looks suspicious, just keep that in mind. Just keep it in mind. It'll be difficult, though. It'll be difficult to avoid it. It'll be difficult to avoid its pull, because there's going to be so much of it. So much. And it will be repeated. The lies will be repeated by the politicians, and they will keep repeating it, even as they're sitting in a TV studio and the interviewer is telling them that what they're saying is a lie, and their response will be to repeat it again. They do that. That's the training now. Don't apologise. Don't accept that what they've said is wrong. Just repeat the wrong thing again. Penny Mordaunt did it the other day. You know that thing that you said about Turkey? Turkey was going to join the European Union. We didn't have any say about it. Well, that was wrong, said the interviewer. And her response was, no, it was absolutely right. No, it wasn't. But if you just keep saying it over and over again, then people who have bought into all of that, they just think, oh, yeah, well, she just keeps saying it, so it must be true. No. Matt Hancock the other day. Oh, there's going to be 40 new hospitals. And people said, well, actually, there's not going to be 40 new hospitals. And he did who, me? Said like schoolboy face and rubbed his eyes and said, no, it's going to be 40 new hospitals. No, it isn't. That's the new training. Never back down, never apologise, never change your story. Even if it's totally, completely and utterly wrong. Even if you're being shown evidence that it's wrong, at that moment, deny everything. In other words, shall I say it again? What would Donald Trump do?
I'm a person that wants to tell the truth. I'm an honest person.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Right, so what are we doing?
Given we're doing a radio show, I did the podcast with Carol McGiffin this morning.
Yeah.
And it was funny. We were honking our faces off. I swear, that hour that I record the podcast with Carol McGiffin is the hour in which I laugh the most all week long. I don't know, there's just something about it. I think it just really works. If you haven't heard it yet, then it is a laugh riot. It comes out on Mondays. There's over 100 that we've done. I just find that hard to believe. It's like 120, something like that. I don't think we barely missed a week. Maybe there was like one or two here and there. But, yeah, I think you'll like it. It's called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol.
Oh, right, yeah.
You see, the idea is that we solve people's problems. Problem solvers. But, you know, we are quite bad at our jobs, so we don't tend to solve many problems. Sometimes we actually put our heads down and charge through them and give excellent advice.
Oh, right, yeah.
Other times, not so much. But if you want us to have a bash at your issue, then this is the address to send it to. Nick and Carol at global.com. NICKANDCAROL at global.com, and be prepared for a modicum of satisfaction. But if you've got an hour and you wish to be amused, then it'll be right up your alley. Ask for it on an internet near you. What's your problem with Nick and Carol? It's on Global Player, by the way, which is an app available in your favourite app store. Got all the radio stations we do, all of the podcasts, in which you'll find that one, What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol. Let's have Tavistock. Hello, Rose.
Oh, hello, Nick. Oh, it's so lovely to have a laugh on Friday and Saturday. I really do look forward to it. However...
Yes.
What I wanted to say was I do think we're seeing the collapse of the state ahead. And that sounds terribly serious, but perhaps I should say, I mean, I might be getting things out of proportion because I don't have telly, I don't have the internet because I find them overwhelming, and haven't read a newspaper on principle since the election, you know, in that 2019.
What, none of them?
Well, I mean, No, I think I got a Guardian once because I thought there might be an interesting think piece, and I thought, no, I don't want any of this.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I went into Smith's to a chap I know there, and I said, I'm not having it anymore. I'm not, you know, I used to get one once a week, and I said, no, no, I've finished with politics. So
hang on a minute.
Then I'm sounding off about politics.
Right, but so hang on. So you don't watch TV, you don't look at the internet. Well, that's understandable. There's nothing on the internet. I've looked at the internet. There's really nothing there. It's
oh God.
So, and you don't read the
Too much
paper.
there.
So where'd you get your information from?
Well, you would wonder, wouldn't you? It really is from LBC.
Oh.
I mean, I listen to your programmes from beginning to end, and some of the others I just pop into every so often, and I hear a bit of the news. But you see, you get the callers calling in.
Right.
And I mean, I was up to speed, you know, like 3 years ago. And what's going on with people when they're trying to access services and everything. And it seems to me so clear that Cameron, having said we're going to shrink the state, not now but permanently, and then proceeded to begin at an enormous rate of knots. And then these lot are carrying on with the richest country in the world.
We aren't the richest country.
Well, not. Oh no! Thank you for bringing me. It was the nerves. The fifth richest country in the world.
Yeah. Well,
yes, that would be
fifth
ridiculous.
or sixth. That maybe the French have overtaken us, but it don't really matter. I
Well,
mean, we're one of the.
We are a rich country.
Yes, true.
And so, given what's happened, I don't know why anybody would be, and all this drivel we're listening to now, I mean, are people thinking, well, I wonder what Rishi will do, how he will help our services. I wonder how Liz Truss will help our services. Well, my view is that they're hardly likely to suddenly turn around and say, oops, we've inadvertently created enormous hardship and dysfunctional services. Better remedy this pretty sharpish, are they?
Well, funny you should
know,
say...
It doesn't make any sense. It's a process which is going to go on and on until they finished it.
Yes, funny you should say that.
Because they don't need any of these services, Nick.
They don't
need them.
That's completely true.
Friends.
Yes, they do not need them. They do not need the NHS, and they don't need the police or anything that the little people rely on. They're above all of that, and so they're not remotely interested. And what rich people tend to feel more, and they feel it more strongly the richer they get, it seems to me, is that they don't want to have to pay tax to prop up poorer people. Yeah, and so they do absolutely anything in their control to avoid paying tax, because the government will just fritter it away on a health service for poor people. Or stuff like that. And they're not remotely interested in that. Why should they have to pay for the little people who, in almost every instance, have created the wealth that those rich people enjoy.
Yeah.
But they don't want to admit that. But it's interesting that you say that they're not going to, come out with that they should fix the NHS and fix all this, that, and the other, because Rishi Sunak has said precisely that.
Yes, well, I mean, I don't believe a word of it.
Well,
It's
no,
all
me
drivel.
either. Me either.
I mean, why would he? I mean, well, I suppose he hasn't spoken up about it before, as far as I know. It's just the whole system. They've been in power three years, these ones. If they wanted to reverse anything, what the previous
plenty of time.
were then,
right.
People said, they would have done something. And look at their response to the poverty that we're, they choose not to see the poverty they've created. They know it's there. They're not stupid. The one thing they aren't, Nick, is stupid.
Well, yeah, that's it's worse than that.
They know people can't manage.
I don't think they're stupid. It's worse than that. They're, I don't know, what's a better way of saying evil?
Wicked.
Yeah, all right, wicked. They're wicked, yeah.
Well, I called it unbridled wickedness when they were first impoverishing people, and people were actually going to so-called food banks, which is a misnomer for a start. And not being able to have food that they had to cook.
Yeah, and we've got...
Because already they couldn't afford the
and there's
bills.
Smug, who said that he thought that the idea of food banks was rather heartening. I mean,
I wish you wouldn't keep telling me that. It's just unbearable, isn't it?
I mean, that's them
really?
In a nutshell. Unbridled wickedness.
Yes.
That they should put that on the lectern at the Conservative Party conference. That should be their new slogan.
Oh, thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Rose. Chin up. It might never have... Oh, no, that's right. It already has. Richard says, shouldn't all those plucky Brexiters stuck at Dover invoke the Blitz spirit and abandon their trips to France and holiday on the Dover coast instead? Well, I recommend that. They love it. I mean, Dover is right next to Folkestone, and Folkestone is no end of a delight. I mean, they got the harbour arm. The food's great. And you can watch Priti Patel's anti-asylum seeker boats blow people out the water. What more do you want? They do actually dock right there on the harbour arm. These really alarming-looking military vessels that Priti Patel wants to have sail out and greet asylum seekers. But it's, no, trust me though, Folkestone is great. I mean, they've got some really good food there, and the whole harbour arm thing is just terrific. There's food all the way down, and right at the end there, they've got a bar, and the view's... Did I say terrific already? I think I did. It's great. Matt emails, Liz Truss says that she will have a bonfire... No, I read that. Martin says, I've just realised who Liz Truss reminds me of. It's the vacuous president in the movie Don't Look Up, played by Meryl Streep. But less amusing. The Lizbot.
Affirmative.
Less amusing. She ends up being eaten by a Brontorog. What's a Brontorog? A Brontorog. What's that? I don't remember that. Don't Look Up. Well, I've seen the film Don't Look Up, but I don't remember a Brontorog. Nor do I know what it know what it is. Nor can I actually say it out loud. But that's a different issue entirely. If you haven't seen Don't Look Up, by the way, you absolutely must see it. It's terrific. Like Idiocracy, it used to be a comedy about the future, and now it's a documentary about the present. Kind of alarming. But if we're all going to go down, then we might as well go down laughing, eh? 0345 6060 973. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbot, LBC.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Listen to him. He knows everything.
Oh, hello.
Hello. 0345 6060 973. James texts, Brexit has trashed our economy. OK. Rosemary says, Rishi is an anagram of Irish. That's good enough for me. He gets the Irish vote in England. Winner, all right, says Rosemary. Rishi is an anagram of Irish. Cruciverbalists will know all about that. Let's have Oxted. Hello, Pat.
Is that for me?
Pat.
Yes.
Yes, Pat.
I've got the answer.
To the question?
Have you noticed how the opposition party...
Pat.
Yes.
You're going to have to turn the radio down because it's frying your
I'm sorry,
brain.
I'll turn it off. The opposition party has always got the answer to the stupid mistakes that the government makes.
Yes.
Now, if we were to get the opposition party as the government, not the party that we've got, the biggest party, we'd save an awful lot of time, wouldn't we?
You mean
because they'd solve the problems.
What, if we turfed them out?
They've always got the answer to all the problems. It doesn't matter which party it is.
Yeah.
When the government fails, and it always does, because it promises things that it hasn't got a hope in hell of doing.
Yes.
The opposition party has always got the answer.
Right.
So if we have an election, and instead of putting the biggest party in power, we put the loser in, it would solve all our problems.
It would save a lot of time. Well, you're a genius, Pat.
And I've got another solution.
Right.
You know how they keep on talking about processing the refugees?
Right.
What do they mean by processing?
Well, they feed them into a big machine.
Yes.
And they cover them in plastic, put them in a box, and you can put them on the shelves of Hamleys, and you can buy one at Christmas.
Oh, so if we like them, we can buy them.
Yeah, keep them as a pet.
Right. So if we like them, we can buy them and we can keep them.
Yeah, and if you don't want them,
But
just
if
take
we
them.
don't like them,
take them back for a
what do we
refund.
do with them?
You take them back for a refund.
Where to?
The place that you bought them.
Well, we can't because they left there.
No.
I don't know what we're going to do with them. What are we going to do with all these that are escaping from from persecution and things?
Well, Pat, if you bought them...
We can't send them back,
If you
can
bought
we?
them at M&S, Pat, you could definitely take it back for a
Amazon
refund.
might have the answer.
Yeah, that's right. You could pop them back into the envelope they came in and get them to send you another one. You could ask for them to send over a selection and you could pick your favourites.
Another one. They don't have any problem with sending another one.
Yeah.
That's not the problem, is
Right.
it? It's just that I'm concerned about what we do with those that aren't processed.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying, is you can just pop them back into an envelope. You could call DHL up and they'll come around and take them back for you. You just need to remember to put the returns form in with the asylum seeker, otherwise they won't be processed. You won't get a refund without a returns form. Any fool know that. Thanks a lot, Pat. Appreciate it. That's an excellent suggestion, by the way. Whoever wins the next general election, don't put them in, because they'll be idiots. Put the party that loses, because they always have the solutions to all these stupid things that the party that wins do. And then we could just stop the party that wins doing the stupid things, because the party that loses will have had all of the solutions all along. That makes as much sense as anything else I've heard over the past 12 years. Excellent work there, Pat. I do hope those asylum seekers are working out for you. You can return them within 56 days of purchase. Do remember that. Steve texts, what's all this about Fishy and the Brains Trust trying to win votes at Hastings for the next 6 weeks? What has Hastings done to deserve that? Please don't tell them, but the traffic isn't that great in Kent this time of year, says Steve. There's another lovely place to go, Hastings. Haven't been there in a couple of years, and I'd love to go back. If only that was possible. Can you imagine how marvellous that would be? Britain is facing a national emergency over the economy, NHS backlogs and illegal migration. Guess who said that? Guess which socialist lefty whinger has said that after 12 years of Tory rule, and the expert guidance of Rishi Sunak in the Treasury for the past 3 years that Britain is facing a national emergency over the economy, NHS backlogs and illegal migration. Guess who said that? That's right, Rishi Sunak.
What?
Rishi Sunak has said that he pledges to put the government on a crisis footing from day one if he becomes Prime Minister, which is literally a crisis of his own making. In an interview with The Times, Fishy said the government is not working as well as it could. Really? What makes you say that? So what we'll get then is the same people who have presided over this mess for 12 years, funded by the same few people and going in the same direction. He's the business as usual candidate running on a platform of no more business as usual.
Oh, fabulous.
Can these people hear themselves? He said families were facing enormous costs from rising inflation, the NHS was under unsustainable pressure, and the public believed the government had lost control of Britain's borders. You know what? No. I believe that this government got Brexit done. And that was to secure our borders. Unless he's saying, as Penny Mordaunt said, that he's going to redo the thing that they'd already got done. That was what she was running on. I'll redo Brexit. Bodger Johnson got Brexit done.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
And it's such a calamity that they're going to have to redo it.
Oh, no.
And as for the NHS under unsustainable pressure, who does he think that is after... who does he think that... Why, rather, not who. Who, what, where, when and why. After 12 years of safe in their hands Tory rule, why does he think the NHS is under unsustainable pressure? Or is that Jeremy Corbyn's fault too? And as for rising inflation, up until a few minutes ago, he was responsible for the actual blooming economy. Does anything permeate that little pink cashmere bubble on planet Rishi? Or is it all Gucci and Prada scented loveliness over at his place, where the only sound that's heard is the soft humming of adoration? I bet he's got that playing in his head wherever he goes. They love me. Isn't he an absolute dream?
No.
Fishy will announce policies to tackle 5 areas over the coming weeks in a challenge to Liz Truss, the Foreign Secretary bot.
Affirmative.
She's leading the polls of Tory members before the final vote in the party leadership race. Good grief. I mean, are you kidding me? So he's going to announce 5 policies, and considering the people that he's going to have to appeal to, not you and me, but these harumphing old geezers, he's going to have to pry out the golf club. What are they most exercised about? Well, so there's 5 policies. Probably be punishment for crusties, ban the gays. What else? Well, they don't like all that newfangled music.
Rock and roll!
So that's got to go. Fewer foreigners? Absolutely, that goes without saying. He could offer to deport himself. Sounds like a winning prospect, Fishy. And don't you look sweet in your little schoolboy uniform? And I actually looked at what he was about to say, and I wasn't far off. These are his policies. Secure the borders. Which is why just enough of us were persuaded to vote to leave the EU. So they've still not got that done yet. And he wants to press on with that Rwanda performance. And he actually said he would deal with the challenges robustly.
Oh, fabulous.
Everything's robust with these people. What he means is throw an unlimited amount of our money at defending something illegal. And he wants to change our relationship with the EU. Well, I think that ship's sailed and sunk. And he wants to fix the NHS, which has somehow suffered because of the Labour Party during the last 12 years of Tory rule. I mean, basically, the Tory party have woken up as though from a coma, cast their eyes around the land, seen only devastation, and decided that they, only they, can clear it up. I mean, in any other walk of life, you'd be frog-marched off to the sanitarium. But it's all perfectly normal on planet politics. And I know it's not representative, but the Times ran an online poll today. Question: who should be the next Conservative Party leader? 91% of those who expressed a preference said Fishy Sunak. 91%. But the harumphing mouth breathers of the Tory party membership prefer the Liz bot.
Affirmative.
She reminds them of Nanny. Thank you, Nanny. May I have another? It's also dreadfully awful, isn't it? I can't stand it anymore.
Stop whining.
Steve says, no, the Hastings one. I've done that one already. These, by the way, are still texts and emails from last night. Crying out loud. 16 pages of them to get through. I haven't done last night's yet. Let me just see how many from last night there are. Oh, well, only about 4 pages. I'll get through them eventually. Lorraine says, I remember getting lunch vouchers in the 1970s. I can't remember travel expenses, bar one job. You had to be listening last night to figure out what that's about. Matt says, these people who won't admit Brexit is a disaster in the cause of many of the issues today will now seek a new project of sorts that could be even worse than Brexit. Terrifying times ahead. Yeah, well, terraforming times ahead. We'll probably send them all to the moon. No foreigners up there. But there ain't no atmosphere in those outer space bars. Welling Garden City. Hello, Daniel.
Evening, Nick. How's it going?
Good, thanks.
Detracting or moving away from politics ever so slightly, did you hear the potentially good news this week that the band Pulp might be reforming?
Oh, don't care.
Oh.
No.
Not interested at all?
Not really, no. I mean, Common People was a very good song. Lyrically and musically okay, but lyrically was great. Other than that, I never really got interested in Pulp.
It's coming up to the 25th anniversary of one of their albums, and it was teased on Instagram, but, you know, you don't seem keen.
You seem deflated, Daniel.
I know. I thought you're into music, but maybe
I am into music, not everything, though. I mean, I won't turn them off if they come on the radio, but equally, I've never bought any of their stuff. So, there.
You ever seen them live?
No.
And you won't go this time?
Absolutely not. No. Not even if it was free.
No. Never mind, then.
Yeah, never mind. All right, better luck next time. Thanks a lot, Daniel. You can't like everything. I mean, I like every genre of music. I hate the word genre, but I like every genre of music. But I don't like every individual artist in those genres. Modern country music, I'm not that keen on. Like old-style country music, country, that's not bad. I don't mind that at all. But equally, I haven't got any of that either. I mean, but Dolly, you can't beat Dolly, can you? But that new country music, no thanks. Appreciate it, but no thanks. How about you, Melania?
I don't care.
She's not that bothered either. 0345 6060 973. Here, have I done the break yet?
Not yet. No.
Not yet. Wow, that was aggressive, wasn't it? Blimey. 0345 6060 973. Now I'm frightened. I'm stuck in the building with these people. You can text 84850, email nicka@lbc.co.uk, and if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. I'll be back after this, if they let me.
This is LBC. Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
I am not one of your fans!
Jessica emails, it's all very well for the Belgies. Belgies? Oh, the Belgian people. You know the Belgian people? The people who put mayonnaise on their chips.
What?
Jessica emails, it's all very well for the Belgies to get all this free stuff and happiness, but we are the best country in the world. We don't need beer and chocolate. We've got the royal family. Oh, I can't hear this again. Stop it. I don't know how she puts up with it, Her Majesty. Everywhere she goes, that tune sparks up every time she steps out of a carriage. That was also very much referencing something we were talking about last night. Apparently, Belgian people get an enormous amount of free stuff. Where's my free stuff? Felix emails, did you see the hilarious clip of Liz Truss visiting a primary school? Yeah, I did. She was introduced to the little children and they said... One kid said, this is so awkward. Yeah, that's right. I wonder why that is. I mean, why was Liz Truss visiting a primary school? What was she there for? Some teenager in her caring apparatus thought it would be a good idea to send her and get a photograph with the cute little kiddies, who had probably been selected especially for their cuteness. Now, you will be polite to the Lizbot, won't you? And one kid just blurts out, this is so awkward. Well, yeah, because that's kids. They just say what they think. I think that kid should be the Prime Minister of this country. Never work with children or animals. Especially if you're not even comfortable with human beings. Why hasn't he been evicted yet, says Felix. Yes. Well, I tell you what, that kid's lucky he hasn't been privatised. Chopped up into small bits and sold off for shares. He says, those kids are smart and they do a better job as Prime Minister than Johnson or Truss. Well, there you are. You see, he beat me to it. I didn't know that he beat me to it, but he did. Then again, a pencil would do a better job than Johnson and Truss. Well, this pencil...
I don't know anything.
Not that one, surely. I mean, can you imagine? Actually, I can, at this point. Smug being the Prime Minister of this country. God. He'd bring back compulsory wing collars and spats. Putney. Hello, Oliver.
Hi, evening, Nick.
Oliver.
Hi. Yeah, I got spurred into call because of the lady you had on just before we went to the news at 11 o'clock. Because I agreed with a lot of what she said, and I want to expound on it quickly, if I may. One, the first thing she said was that since the 2019 election, she'd been turned off politics. That's exactly what happened to me. Since 2019, since I saw the way that the whole Jeremy Corbyn project was fixed, against it, I stopped listening. I was a news junkie, a politics junkie, and I just stopped listening to it altogether. And just like her, the only programme I would actually listen to would be yours all the way through, and a couple of others not all the way through in LBC.
Well, that's very, very nice of you. But can I say, with absolute conviction and clarity, do not get your news from this show, apart from the actual news bulletins.
Yeah. Well, you do get news bulletins on your show.
Yes.
So that was added to it.
Right.
And then this second point she said was to do with that she thought that there was the collapse of the British state coming. And I kind of agree with her, but I think it's a problem not only of the British state, but across the Western world. I think there was that guy who makes documentaries on the BBC, Richard Curtis. I think there was a documentary he made a few years ago.
Yeah.
When he said our politicians basically have nothing left to sell, and I think it's true. And
well, we haven't, as a country, we haven't got anything left to sell. This is why they've decided to sell Channel 4. They've sold literally everything else.
Yeah, well, exactly. But they've got no ideas left to sell.
Right.
And that's the thing. And where the crisis is really coming from is you've had 40 years of laissez-faire policies from Thatcher, basically across the West. And then in 2008, we had this collapse. And then I personally noticed, why were interest rates so low for so long? I've never seen such a thing, like at more or less zero. And then we had COVID, and then we had more quantitative easing, and then we've had an explosion what do you call it? Explosion of
inflation.
Inflation, and now against their own judgment, they have to raise interest rates again. So I think it's not just a crisis in this country; it's a crisis across the West, and they've got no answer for it. Like you see, Rishi Sunak, he's saying, "Okay, we're going to return to tax-right policies." Well, what does that mean?
It's all utterly meaningless. And it's interesting how Rishi Sunak made his money from betting on the thing that caused the rest of us 10 years of this needless austerity that they foisted upon us, which I'm sure they would have done anyway because they just want to shrink the state so that the rich don't have to pay tax to prop up the poor, who were instrumental in making them rich. But they ignore that part.
Exactly, but they can't shrink the state. I mean, like, you've got a way...
Well, they've done a pretty good job. They've done a pretty good job of shrinking the state. I mean, how's the NHS working so far?
Fabulous.
But we're in the middle of a cost of living crisis. Inflation rates through the roof. And, I don't think in his heart of hearts he actually believes that it can happen. It can't happen. If they try to go do another day's of austerity, there'll be riots. It's impossible.
I don't know. I mean, the recent history of this country is that we'll put up with anything. As long as they distract us with, it's all the fault of the French and the European Union, which is why they never want to get Brexit actually done. They always want to just have it like a scab that we just continually are scratching at and never heals. It's because they will always be able to blame it on the French.
Normally you're right, Nick, but this time it's different. This time... people can actually see the prices rocketing in the shops.
Yeah,
they can act, and I think this time the old tricks aren't going to work.
Well, we'll see. I mean, this is not. Unfortunately, this is not a program on television. We'll see because we're actually living it. Can you believe that? And that reference that you made to Richard Curtis, by the way, is very good and should be advertised more widely. Richard Curtis, there are lots of his films on the iPlayer thing, the BBC, and he is just brilliant. I mean, it's like the news, but on acid, kind of, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's a bit like that, yeah. All right, thanks a lot, Oliver. 0345 6060 973. Declan emails, I'm in Austria. I have to pay my employees' health insurance, 14 months' wages per year. That's double summer and Christmas wages, 6 weeks paid holiday, and even their travel tickets or fuel. It costs a fortune to employ someone here, says Declan. Yeah, but I bet the Austrians are happy. Don't you think? Or we could do it like we do in this country, where we drive everybody down to the lowest possible common denominator, get everybody perpetually balancing on the edge of financial ruin so that you are always in hock to your employer and you will take anything that they give you because you're frightened of being fired. And the only thing that's screwed up that for them is is their own stupid Brexit plan, which has made 1 million or so people that we're yelling at to get out of our country to get out of our country. And now it's rather come to bite them on the bottom that they don't have enough people to fill the jobs anymore, which has rather put the power, a little bit anyway, back into the hands of the workers. Because before, they could just fire you. I mean, they're trying to do that now. Crazy Kwarteng just signed something that said from this moment on we'll be able to replace any strikers with agency workers, which, by the way, was the exact thing that he was pretending to be outraged at when P&O did just that, replace workers with those on minimum wage. Kwarteng said, today we changed the law to allow businesses impacted by strike action to hire skilled temporary workers to mitigate disruption. It's an option for business. We will not let trade unions grind our economy to a halt. Is that the economy that was supposed to be run for the benefit of high-skill, high-wage people? That's the thing that they do. It creates a sort of dissonance in the brain that they tell you one thing and they do the opposite. It's just what would Donald Trump do? Everything the regime does can be seen through the prism of what would Donald Trump do. Donald Trump would tell you, I want you to have a high wage, while cutting your wage. When you hear him say it and you think, oh, well, that's great, problem solved, I can go out and spend some money. And then you look at your pay packet and think, well, hang on a minute. And then it just creates this confusion in your mind. And that's what they're doing to us. A high-wage, high-skill economy. But just don't ask for a high wage. That's all. Just that part. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC. It's just past 11:30. The news headlines with Lucinda Horsley.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
What number are you calling from?
0345 6060 973. Paul tweets, I've noticed that when anyone disagrees with Anne Widdecombe, she calls them woke. Anne Widdecombe. That Anne Widdecombe. Forest Hill, hello, Hugh.